Hey everybody, we're just we'll give everybody a few minutes here to join. All right, I think we'll get started here. This is really an update on what we've been doing on the growth and development side at USA Curling. You're actually going to see a presentation deck that I hoped to use last night, but was foiled by technology, so went without it last night. So you'll actually get to see the deck. I think Michelle, you could mute if you're, and people are, by the way, feel free to unmute and talk. Happy to have to talk to people instead of stare at your initials. So happy to have that interaction. So feel free to jump in. But I'll go through the sort of this a report on what we've done development side. Just going to share my screen. That's sharing. Okay. Can I get to this slideshow? There we go. Sorry. All right. So some of the efforts we have going on that we've, in the last few months that we've taken on, following the development, it's not certainly all, these are not all my projects or my work. There's a team here at USA Curling is doing good work constantly in a lot of things. I'm going to start with our work on instruction. When I landed in this role about 16 months ago, I realized we didn't have many level one instructors, and we certainly didn't have enough level one course conductors. I mean, I'm sorry, people who could teach the level one course. We didn't have enough to offer enough courses around the country so that clubs could grow their instructor pool. I don't think any have been added since about 2013-14. That led to problems like having to fly a course conductor to a site versus having someone in the area who could do it. Personally, I think to be a level one course conductor, you have to have a level two certification in instruction. So anybody who was a level two was invited to We did 2 online training sessions for course conductors with Matt Shiner, who's a curler out of New York, out of Ardsley, curls out of the Ardsley Club and the Long Island Curling Club. And Matt has done a ton of level 1 courses, so he led a couple 2-hour sessions. I don't know if anybody on this group was in those, but really going through how to do the level 1 course and teach it well. The other thing we did was we made the process a little easier for clubs. That you can go, if you are a club and you're looking to do a level 1 instruction clinic, you can go, there's a form you can find on our website and request a course date, and then we'll work with you to set it up, secure the course conductor. And then the process for it is fairly simple now. There's a $500 flat fee for the club that hosts. Then we handle the registration of everybody who signs up. And it's $50 per person. That's been the number for a number of years. $50 per person. Once we have 10 people signed up, that $500 is considered paid, and any additional revenue goes back to the club. So it's a good way to, the club can actually generate some revenue by having a full house for it. And then we're also paying course conductors $100 for each session they do, which I think it's important work, and we want to recognize it. Certainly not going to make anyone rich, we know, but some recognition of their day. We're also updating the level 1 instructor materials. We've updated, I worked with Matt again, but did some updates to the level 1 presentation deck. If anybody's taken the level 1 deck, level 1 deck, if anyone's taken the level 1 course, I'm just going to let somebody in here. Hang on. If anyone has taken the level 1 course in the past, the deck definitely needed some updating. It probably hadn't been updated since 2013-14. So that not only some new photos, there were also some sort of zigs and zags in the deck itself that made the presentation maybe a little less linear and clear than it could have been. So Matt's actually going to have a test run of this next weekend, and we'll see what other tweaks we make. I think we should always be continuing to tweak it, but I think this new version is going to be better. Championship planning, we run 11 different national championships. I think, and within those championships, we are really serving all constituencies of curlers, from the 5 and under curler to our men's and women's and mixed doubles national championships. We have the gamut in there, and we want to, we think that's important. We want every championship, however, to feel as important to that person at it as the national championship should. And we're really focused this year, and we're fingers crossed for a year without COVID interruptions. We really want to have a year when we can show just how great we can make national championships. And no matter what it is, whether it's an arena national championship or a seniors or 5 and under or club nationals, we want people to come away feeling like they were at something special. If we did an honest assessment of last year, we would say there were times that didn't happen. Some of it was definitely on us. Some of it was not meant as an excuse, but some of it was COVID made certain things really challenging last year. So this year we're looking forward to that. We also, we changed some qualification procedures for championships. So we ran some town halls to make sure everybody's clear about that. Host sites were a big challenge last year. They continue to be, a challenge. And some of that is because I would say over the last 5 years, clubs gain a lot more revenue from private events. They're unwilling to give up their facility for a championship and lose that money, which is perfectly understandable. And certainly last year, I totally understood when clubs didn't want to host championships. But one of the things we're doing is working hard to help clubs optimize revenue. I've been on calls with Aaron Kaler, our events manager, a lot, and we tell people, look, if we're not delivering championships that make money for the clubs that host them, we're not going to have host sites. So we're working hard to make sure that those championships will, and we're confident they can make money for the hosts. We've partnered with events to create some Bonspiel qualifiers for juniors and for men's and women's. And so we're getting away from a play down process for those events. We like that because we'd rather contribute to that bonspiel ecosystem versus compete with it with play down events. So, and we're appreciative of our, the bonspiels that have signed on to serve as qualifiers. We had the Colorado Cup, a mixed doubles qualifier out in the Denver area just last weekend. That was a great event. Lots of good feedback on that from competitors. They actually ran a rec side and a competitive side, 16 teams in each field. I think that was a great idea. We'd love to see more of that, where you bring together both types of curlers, both curlers at both stages. We created an intent to compete for our men's, women's, mixed doubles, juniors, junior women's. Never had that before. It's free. Uh, and what we wanted to do with that was make sure we know identify people in our community who have competitive aspirations, number one. And we also want to be able to update standings on those events regularly and be transparent about where people are in each competition. So that's gone well. We have, I think, over 110 teams have registered for events, done the intent to compete. So that's exciting. It shows a bit of a bounce back from last year when competitive numbers were down. And we updated the rule book, which was a fairly big process. The rule book was overdue for updating, and we've made some significant revisions there. The other thing we did on championships was we have made the championships formats either 8 teams, 12 teams, or 24 teams. Mixed doubles is 16 teams, but it's half as many curlers on a team. So that's going to lead to some more consistent formats for draws, which we'll like, so people will know if they're in a national championship, it's an 8-team field on 4 sheets of ice. This is going to be the typical draw. So that'll get us out of the business of reworking draws each year for each event, as long as we can partner with right-sized facilities for each of those. Club materials, always a topic. And I'm going to show a couple of these at the end here, but we have an intro learn to curl model it's a 1-hour learn to curl for when people first come out. We call it Captivate, Collect, Convert. And what we're really hoping to help clubs do is increase those conversion rates. We like the 1-hour process for a first time. This isn't like someone's signed up for a beginner league or learn to curl series. It's the first time out. What we love about 1 hour is it's never quite enough curling for a first-time curler. So they want to come back. You give them extra incentive to come back. And it's why we discourage 2-hour intro learn to curls, for instance, because there's a good chance when someone's done with that, they're cold and they're tired and maybe they don't want to curl again. So that's something we have and can share. We are creating a new content platform where a lot of this stuff will sit. If you want any of it now, or your club does, feel free to reach out. We can share it easily through Teams right now, but it will be on a content platform. We have a new facility planning resource hub where we've gathered all the documents we have from successful transitions from arena ice facilities to dedicated ice facilities, grouped them together. There's really a lot of great information in here, especially on things like financials and construction. If you're in that position and you want to get a really good handle on costs you're going to face, there's business plans in there that are excellent. So we're happy to share that as well. Last year too, just to talk about some of the other things we did, we also share these with clubs. We created promotional videos during the Olympics that clubs can use. Some clubs have embedded those on their website, including one that sort of explains how to watch curling that ran during the Olympics, explainer videos. We also have a video that clubs can use as a follow-up to a Learn to Curl. So if you send out an email, which we recommend after someone's on the ice for the first time, gather their information, send them an email. There's a video you can use as a link or embed, and that sort of is a good way to maybe get someone more excited to come out and try curling again. There's digital files and materials for print materials that we can provide and share. And like I mentioned before, we have a new content platform that's on the way, in the works. We want to get that up. Believe me, we want to get that up as quickly as we can. Last thing, I don't know if anybody's ever listened to my podcast, The Whole Spiel, but you can find that on Apple and Spotify. There's also a link to it through our own website. But we're using that to interview. Some of you might know in my past, I used to do a podcast where I interviewed, elite curlers. This is really focused on builders, curler people who are involved in growing the game. Some of our elite players as well. But hope to continue. We'll keep doing that, at least probably 2 per month. We're trying to move to a weekly schedule. It's been a little tricky the last couple of weeks, but we'll try to move to that. Junior dev, we have a junior program guide. This was something a lot of people, I know in a lot of clubs, the people who end up running a junior program may be the first time they've done that. And maybe they've never even coached juniors, but their kids are involved with juniors. And they go to the club, they have to go to the club on Saturday morning, and maybe they're not sure what to do. So this guide should help give them ideas and a plan for each week, and ideas on how to build out their junior program, everything from recruiting to whether you have a league structure, et cetera. Jessica Schultz ran a great junior camp in Blaine in the summer. Lots of kids at that. Really went well. Great attitudes among all the kids. I, for one, have been excited to see the numbers come back in junior curling. If you have kids who play youth sports, you know that youth sports were down across all sports. So it's exciting to see kids coming back to curling. Jessica and Mike Poplinski also run the online junior dev program. This has been a great program, online learning, seminars, etc. I'd encourage you to find out more about that on our website as well. And we're working with a club and other clubs, hopefully, to run a one-day junior clinic with some of our national team athletes, maybe just one, maybe two, depending on the numbers. But I think those can be really valuable in a club setting as well, and happy to talk through that model with anyone who's interested. That's a quick sort of look. I'll go through the junior development, the junior curling program guide when we're done here real quickly, but that's a quick look at some of the insides to it. My USA Curling, the improvement in that has been, in my mind, pretty remarkable from when it was first launched. And I'll give full credit there to Jenna Bercheski, our membership services manager, and Gabby Takis, also in membership services, who have really, unlock some of the robust features of the program that take some work to get in and find and produce. So a few things now you can do through that. You can, not only have your membership, it becomes a real membership hub for you. All your certifications now can be in there. Instructor certifications are in there, official certifications, so you can go in and see what you have, what you might need to update. Ice technician certifications are coming soon. Sean Olson and I are we're working with World Curling Federation to create, mirror those certifications and use theirs. Safe Sport training is now fully integrated within that platform. And that's a real win. You don't have to go to Safe Sport and log in there and then come back. You will see in your profile if you need to complete Safe Sport training, and if you need to do a refresher, or if you need to do the whole first course. I will say, once you do, anybody who does the first session is quite long and intense, as it should be. The refreshers are not as long. So once you complete the first steps, background screening is available in there as well. Event registration is now integrated in there. So anybody who tried to register for a championship in the past on the platform that was used for probably 10 years was, I think, called Blue Sombrero. As a player, I remember being frustrated with it, so we're excited that now it's going to be in there, and you'll be able to see within your profile what you're registered for. Club administrators, if you're a club leader, you can be added to club profiles, and we'd love you to do that. Contact Jenna or Gabby to set up club admin status. There is, I have a note here. I want to just one quirk with Safe Sport training. You do have to have your birth date in your profile in order to take the Safe Sport training. So if you don't, reach out to us again. If you click on support, that's going to go to us, but you can email us as well. We can get, once your birth date is in there, your Safe Sport training will be available. I think it's exciting that we have full-time staff now to assist with these issues. all my years as a USOPC AAC rep and served on the USA Curling Board during that time, we didn't really have a member customer service philosophy, and that's what we have now with full-time staff. And I think anybody who's dealt with Jenna or Gabby knows how quickly they can get to issues and solve them. And if we don't have the answers right away, they will work pretty hard to find them. Ice Tech training. I don't know if there's any Ice Techs on right now, but we've had 2 successful Ice Tech summits led by our head Ice Tech Sean Olson. One last June in Nashville, another one in the Oakland at the new club in Oakland just this past September. These are 2.5-day events that we encourage clubs to send their Ice Techs to, especially your volunteer ice tech might really like a 2.5 days learning about ice making in a city like Nashville. So you get practical on ice training. Sean does a flood, he does scrapes. If you're a ice tech person, which I am not, I love good ice, but I'm not a maker of ice. But if you are, these are great, and you'll get really good practical information. And we'll be introducing these ice tech certifications that will match up with what the World Curling Federation is doing. And then we look forward probably to those Ice Tech summits providing some of that certification. You also get some pretty nice work gloves if you go to an Ice Tech summit. So let me jump out of this for a moment. And anybody who's on here, I need to make sure that I'm still. If you have any questions, feel free to throw them in chat right now. But I will go through some of the, just going to open up some of the other decks. The junior program guide, I will open this up. Still sharing my screen, right? Thank you. All right. So this is Engage, Develop, Retain. It's our junior curling program guide. This will be available next week. So it's really a pretty comprehensive look at how to develop a really good junior curling program within your club. And it starts with, the sort of initial needs you need, how you're going to achieve the goals in there. We talk about recruiting. One of the things, that some of our most successful junior programs around the country do is they connect with local high schools, et cetera, and try to offer curling to some of the kids who might play other sports. And I think that that's a good opportunity for us. You might notice I used 4 examples in here of sports that are complementary to our season. And I think that that's a good way to start getting outside of our usual recruiting group for junior curling. And if you can, there are plenty of kids, as I always say, I have a son who plays baseball. There's probably a likely chance he'll play high school baseball, and it's likely around at a certain point he's going to realize he's probably not going to play Division I college baseball, and maybe he might like to add another sport. So those are the kinds of things we encourage you to do when it comes to recruiting kids for your junior program. Things about registration, making sure your junior program has kids-only things. This is an important part that I'm trying to stress to a lot of junior programs, and that's league play in your program. And I know a lot of new junior programs might say, well, we only have a few kids. I think you can still find ways to offer league play, even if you had 4 kids and you do rotating teams and you do mixed doubles games every week and you award points for showing up and points for wins, you can create a league. And it doesn't have to be hyper competitive, but if you've been involved with youth sports in any way, and I've been pretty involved with my son's sports, the kids always know the score. They know results and they want to know. I tell the story, I coached a rec basketball team where they didn't keep score. And at the end of every game, the kids would tell me the score. So don't be afraid to make league play some sort of part of your program. Inter-club play, if that's an option. Nothing makes a kid love a sport like traveling to play it somewhere. So if you can make that work, uniforms, I think if you can provide some sort of uniform, that's great. But where we get into really helping, we talk about the skill set that you want to teach during with a junior program. We sort of break it into these 5 skills, and really encourage you to focus the skills section of each junior curling session, focus on one skill. And then within there, we provide a number of drills that you can use in order to teach that skill. So you get some ideas for drills for each thing, for each skill, team play even. And at least I think what we want to do here is give people running a junior program a chance when they show up, they have, ideas for what they can do to keep kids engaged and enthused. I should say when I coached rec basketball, I didn't know anything about basketball, and I could have used that. So I could have used something like this for basketball. So, and then the other thing that I mentioned in the dev discussion is the optimizing introductory learn to curl, or 1 hour learn to curl model. And again, I don't think this is something, if you have a model at your club that has a good conversion rate, by all means stick with what you're doing. If you look at your conversion rates and you say, oh, we had 1,000 people come through learn to curls last year and we only added 5 members, then you might want to think about different approaches. And this is one you can use. I think some clubs too that I've shared this with have just used parts of this, found ideas within it that they've used to improve their own intro learn to curls. But again, this will be available on our content platform. It's also available if you just want to reach out and get it. It sort of breaks down the hour. You can see, what you're teaching at each moment, how to keep it moving. One of the things we love, even with, and this might, I know a lot of people say, oh, you can't, how can somebody be playing a game in 30 minutes? And maybe it's not 30, maybe it's 40, but whatever. I'm confident that you can get people playing a game in even less than 30. And I think it's important for someone their first time in the ice. The thing I always stress is that doesn't mean you stop teaching once they start playing a game. It's just that, most people want to play. They don't want to, they're not there to take a skills clinic their very first time. So if you can get them playing and you can teach them as they play, you're going to have some good success. One of the things I suggest too, when you're doing, I have this here thing, use fewer rocks, break from tradition, alert. When you play games with a learn to curl, try it. You might not agree with me, but try using 4 rocks per team instead of 8. So what happens is it's also easier for participants to understand. They know they're throwing 1 rock or they're sweeping. It moves faster. And what we've discovered is that most people, their first time in the ice, they treat each end like its own mini game. So there's big excitement at the end of an end. If anybody scores as much as a single point, they think they've won a game. So why not give them more of that endorphin rush and maybe try to get 2 or 3 ends in instead of just one slow end? It's probably also a little safer in the end when you don't have people having to manage around 16 rocks, from the hog line in. Information on how to follow up with people. There's some email templates in here about how to follow up. And of course, there's some final thoughts. So those are a few of the things we have underway, a few of the things we've been working on. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. And if anybody has any questions for me, feel free to fire them at me now. I wasn't planning to take the full hour here, or even full. I actually spoke for half an hour, which I was hoping to speak less. I'm sorry I went that long. But if anybody has any questions, feel free to ask me. Or if you just want to reach out to any of us, all our emails are available on the USA Curling website. And I apologize if there's, if somebody's emailed and, for instance, not Jenna or Gabby, they'll get back to you right away. But if I've missed a few, I apologize. I usually go back every week to try to find anything I missed. But if you don't hear from me, don't be afraid to be persistent. Any questions? I guess I should open the chat if that's possible. There we go. Hearing none. I either put everybody to sleep or it's I covered it so extensively that nobody has questions. But oh, thank you, Michelle. Any idea when the new content platform will be available? I mean, I'd like it to be available tomorrow. We're hopefully very shortly, in some version of it. So, and it's probably something that we're going to launch and then continue to improve. But I can't give you an absolute specific date. But all this content we can share with you now through Teams. So if you want anything you want, let me know. Let us know. We'll share it. For sure, David. Yep. We'll make sure I can get those to you. Actually, I see, David, you're in Silicon Valley. The idea for the video post LTC came from Mopac. Maybe it's all those entertainment people out there, but they were the ones that suggested some sort of video that went out afterwards. And I think the one we have is pretty good. So I hope some people use it and get some value out of it. All right, it's 4:31. Shell, will we have notes in the chat? People who said it would be a little, or should I just make notes? Michelle, you know what? We'll probably just send some of this stuff to everybody on this who joined here. All right, everybody. It's the start of curling season for most of us, the traditional season. So good luck and good curling. And I hope I'll get a chance to see some of you out on the ice this year instead of in this weird virtual world we live in. Thanks, everybody.